Yes, people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone, but more importantly, I say blue morning to you because, of course, it is the Blue Morning Show. Right now, today we'll talk about Armando Broja. We'll see if there's any new development regarding the club's pursuit of Kimpembe. Also, we'll talk about uh, um, Jules Kounde, and all the emergent news out there. There's quite a lot to talk about today. I hope you're doing well. And as you're coming in, please keep liking the video to help us reach more people. So thank you very much again for all the tremendous support. And yes, thank you. So let's get into the show. Yes, people, once again, welcome back to the Transfer Watch Show on a Just Perspective on the Blue Money Show. I hope you all are doing well. Again, as it is the tradition here, I will start looking, checking up on those who are already in the chat to see how they are doing. And already we have Liam Lane in the chat, and he says, Blue Morning, Coachila, panel in chat. I hope you're starting to feel a better, coach. Yes, I'd ask you the same question too. I feel so much better. The cold has subsided significantly. As you can see, it is not affecting my voice anymore. But thank you, more importantly, for asking. And I ask you the same question. I sincerely do hope that you're doing better, that you're doing a few days ago. And I hope you don't text, you don't, test positive to the dreaded, you know what it is anyway. But then again, we've prayed for you, and I believe you better. So thank you very much for asking how I'm doing. I sincerely do appreciate that. That's sixth to hit the like button, so you missed out on the Champions League phantom. But more importantly, I hope you're doing well. And here we have Philip Mukama says, "Good afternoon, guys. I would keep a broiler. The fact we are buying sure, Philip Mukana again. Right now, we'll talk about Broya scenes soon. Just calm down. Good afternoon, guys. I would keep Broya. He will play second fiddle to Harvard. However, Tuchel needs to promise him that he will start games again. I'm not going to talk about that, but the truth remains, Havertz is not a number 9, and with Broya in the team, Havertz will be starting as one of the 2-8. And I say full stick with the system that the manager used predominantly this past season. But we'll see what happens. Again, if you're listening, let me know how the sound is. If we're having any issues, and to that, be careful. If I try to fix the sound, not to break a whole lot of stuff in the process. Julian Opera, when they thank you, he says, "Good morning, brother. Good morning to you too. I hope you're doing well." Good morning, brother. Says Sahid Allah. Nice to see you here, my Niger brother. I hope you're doing well. And the queen of the house, blue morning to you, Coachila. Blue morning to you too, Just Viola. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding time to join us today. For everyone in the chat. Yep, and today again, if you remember, we have our first of preseason game. Again, please, how far have you gone on Kimpembe? And again, have we gone? I'm not sure. We'll look at them, and rest assured, we're looking at things as they develop. So if we see anything new, I'd share it with you most definitely. So I'm not going to keep it to myself. Again, sound is good. Coachila, thank you very much, Lamb Lane. Again, remember, I asked you, I hope you're doing it. Namdi Okongwu. Okay, says a blue morning to everyone. Namdi, blue morning to you too. I wholeheartedly hope that you're doing well. Again, it's going to be, I hope we'll have another brilliant show today as usual. And I'm hoping to have some people join me on the panel if they have the time to do so. If not, we will roll solo, and believe me, we will be just fine. And we have, I think, around 2 shows scheduled for today. The Helgi and Travis show. I think will hold today also. That's immediately after this about the Blue Morning Show. And I think we should just get into it straight away. Again, we feel following on the preseason tour. You hear that Armando Broja, he left the pitch. I think we showed something yesterday. He left the pitch with something like a strap on his feet or so. So we're learning now he got injured during the training period, and here's Thomas Tuchel making a statement about that. He said Tuchel on Broja's injury, he had a little accident in training. He landed in a funny way on his ankle in Achilles heel. He is in pain, but he's lucky he did not get injured. He's not training, but that's a good thing to hear. And then again, we'll get into talking about Armando Broja's future. What Thomas will analyze the statement, whether it means, whether the statement on its own means that Armando Broja will not be sold, because I know most Chelsea fans are really, really concerned that he'd be sold. Again, but Thomas Tuchel did sound like he wants to keep him at the club, except if, if the player himself wants to leave, they may well change Thomas Tuchel's stance on the player's future. But we will talk about that. Let me check. I think since we started, excuse me, since we started with Broja's injury, it's important. Let's transition seamlessly into his future. So I want to try and find that Thomas Tuchel's comment so we can talk about it. Let me see where I can find that. Just give me one second. Again, while you're at it, if you have any questions, shoot it in the chat. And as you're coming in, please keep liking the video. I appreciate all the support, tremendous support that this channel receives from, the members, the family, because we're family here. Let me see if I can find it. How did I lose it? I can't believe that happened. But we will see. I think I'll find it in a bit. Just give me a second. And here, Abhisha Moha, Moha, how are you doing, brother? Again, it's been a while. I don't remember when last I saw you on the show, but I think that's fine. I'm glad you're here now. Do let me know if you're doing well. I hope things are well with you and yours. And here, Moshi Sabite, my South African brother, my brother from the Madiba land. He says, blue morning, my people, blue morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. And here, Tony 254 says, will Starling play as a false nine? I think I'll highlight that and we'll see and maybe try to talk about it in a bit. Yes, like the stream, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Yes, listen to the queen of the house. The likes are important. And as I've always preached on this show, listen, I would rather you like the videos than you donating your hard-earned cash to the channel, because the truth remains, you being there in the chat, you contributing in the chat, you watching even when you don't feel like, typing anything in the chat. Those things do go a long way, for the channel, the donations. So I appreciate all your love, all the likes. Again, we cannot thank you enough, but keep liking the video, because the more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more people would be able to reach, and the more fun we'll have here on the show. Now, this is Thomas Tuchel's comments. He says, Tuchel and Broja, Armando Broja is our player, first of all, and at the moment, we have no interest in selling him. He's here to make an impression. After he played on loan at Southampton, again, that can be seen as I think he just says, I think when you look at it, the world at the moment, the three-word part of the sentence at the moment, which means there's a chance that he still leaves. Again, I think everything comes down to if the manager, after looking at him during the preseason tour or preseason games he gets to play, then he will decide on what to do with the player. If you're in the chat, please do let me know whether you think this comment by Thomas Tuchel specifically means that Armando Broja will stay at the club and will not go out on loan. Again, to me, I'm looking in particular at this the three words that I highlighted there on the screen: at the moment, at present. that doesn't mean that will not change tomorrow, because clubs have come in with bids for him. I think it's West Ham United. They've come with 30 million or 35 million bid, maybe to test the waters. But before they do that, I think they must have seen something that encouraged them, or that's a likelihood that they've been encouraged by the Broja camp. But there's no telling. This is just me speculating. But I want to know. I want to hear from you. If you're in the chat, let me know whether you think this Thomas Tuchel statement or comment, whether it means that Armando Broja will most definitely stay at the club this coming season, or do you think there's a chance who he still leaves? But to me, whenever I read such statements, I pay attention to every bit of it. And to me, what stands out to me is at the moment. It did not. If you leave that out, then you can say categorically that Broja stays at the club this coming season. But with that, at the moment, it could be, we'll see what happens after preseason. So if you're in the chat, let me know what you think about that. Again, I appreciate all the support. Right now, we have 19 likes. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video to help us reach more people so that the show will be more and more fun here. Again, I'm asking you, if you're in the chat, let me know what you think of this Thomas Tuchel's statement, what it means. Do you think it means, or let me know how you understand it. To me, the three words highlighted there means that it's not a given. He's not categorically. That doesn't mean that he's going to be. He will most definitely be part of the squad this coming season. To me, it just sounds as if, okay, we'll look at him after the preseason. We'll make a choice. I hear Herbert Kilpin says, "Good day, ciao, good day, everyone. Good day to you too. I hope you're doing well." Here, Lemlin said it might depend on if he gets another attacker in during the window. I am not sure that statement guarantees. I'm not sure that statement guarantees anything for Broja. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. That's no guarantee that he's going to be part of the squad this coming season. Because if you pay attention to the statement, like I said, what stands out for me from that statement is the three words there highlighted on the screen right now. If you're looking at it, at the moment, which means things can change tomorrow, which means things could change, at the end of preseason. Again, which means things can change if he gets in a new striker, just like Liam Lane here pointed out. And by the way, I think that qualified for a delicious comment because it makes sense. And then I appreciate that. So if you're watching, please keep liking the video, people. Again, thank you already for 21 likes. But if you haven't, take a second to like the video to help us reach even more people. Because the more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more this stream will be pushed to more people could be interested in this particular topic, and the more fun it will be for us here. Moshe Sabata, my brother from the Madiba land, he says apparently Lewandowski is close to agreeing a deal with Barca. Do we have a plan B? Again, the truth is he's gone already. I think he's agreed a deal with Barca. I think the deal was close yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong if you're watching. I don't think nothing is left. Even Chelsea were hearing a few days ago, was informed that we're not gonna that he's not available anymore because we inquired. We reached out to Bayern to see if it's available again, but we've been informed a day ago or 2 days ago that he's no longer available. Again, Chelsea, please considering Jeremy Doku come to join for right wing back. Again, I'm not sure that's we haven't heard anything about Doku. I'm not sure if the club, if they're looking at him. If they are, I think he's a good player. He'd be able to do a good enough job, even compete with Reece James for a place in that in the right wing back position. But it remains to be seen whether the club are looking at him. But that's, by the way, I think the phrase at the moment means Broja will stay, but with football, you never know. Again, I think otherwise with that phrase at the moment it could be, until after preseason, or maybe if we're like Liam Lane did put it, if we're not able to bring in anybody again, but I'm glad that we're looking at it. Ciao, Herbert. This is just Viola trying to respond to Herbert in the language he said hello with. Again, you see, she seemed to speak every language. Big up Coachila and morning. I hope you're all excited for tonight's game. I am excited, and I and my family will be at the stadium. Hopefully, I'll be able to record a few clips of video. So it's going to be fun. My boys, my wife, and my in-laws are actually going with me. So it's a family, you could say it's a it will be fun for all of us if you want to phrase it like that. Starling left wing back, so Jeremy Doku right wing back. I don't think Starling will play in the left wing back position. I think we'll get in we'll field specialized players in that area, and I think we'll bring in a competition for both Reece James and Ben Chilwell. So when they, if at any time during the course of the season they get injured, or if anything goes wrong, we still have a player who'll be able to help us fulfill that role perfectly. Again, keep liking the video right now. We're at 23 likes. I know we can do better than that. If you're coming in, please like the video and also share the stream on whatever social media platform where you have a presence, so we'll be able to reach more people. So thank you. I cannot thank you enough for all the love you're showing this channel. You guys are absolute legends. Again, I'm going to keep reading what we have here. And here we have Jeremy Doku as choice. Again, yeah, it's a possibility, but are we looking at him? That's the thing. And remember, again, well, only for the players the club are looking at, because we've been told they're not going to sign anybody that the manager don't want them to sign. So which means whatever player they sign, that's the player the manager wants. And we also heard during Thomas Tuchel's press conference that he that he speaks with Todd Bowley almost on daily basis, sometimes twice a day, because we are in a rebuilding process, and because they want to be strategic about the spendings to make sure they bring in the right people. And he said, yes, even though we're rebuilding, we want to compete next season. That's why with Chelsea, so it makes sense. If we're strategic enough, even if we make even if we make a wholesome change, if you want to phrase it that way, we'd still do well next season, because we recruited strategically. We're not just throwing money at players because we think they're good, but we're buying players that will fit and slip seamlessly into how the manager wants to approach the game. Again, but that's why we're happy to see that Chelsea link to Leo. It seems just a rumor. Again, I'm wondering, being a Chelsea fan and an AC Milan fan, how you divide your loyalty between the two clubs. If Leo comes to Chelsea, you'd support him, but you're happy to see him stay at Milan. So I just don't understand how you're able to manage your loyalty to both clubs. How many subs are allowed tomorrow against Club America? I'm not sure, but usually I think during the preseason games, you're even allowed to play two different 11s, one 11 in the first half, a second 11 in the second half, and still make some changes too. So again, I'm not sure if there's any rule, if that game against Club America differs, or if Thomas Tuchel can still use 22 players or even more. But we'll see what happens. I think he meant that if Tuchel likes what he sees during preseason, Broja will stay. Otherwise, he'd be gone. I think that's the most perfect analogy of that statement, Thomas Tuchel statement. It's as simple as that. He's not guaranteeing anything. At the same time, he's saying, okay, if you do well, then you may well stay. I think that's how I interpret it. And here we have, can you offer Chelsea by Jeremy Doku coming out just again? I get your argument about Jeremy Doku. You mentioned Jeremy Doku like 4 or 5 times now. Let me know if you're from the same country as Jeremy Doku and why you like him so much. I really do want to know. The shout, you're really serious about the club getting him. Again, thank you for 25 likes. Please keep liking the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I understand Good morning, guys. Big up, coach. I've been wondering why clubs have been beating for Broja and no Timo. I don't think Timo is that bad. I just need a bit more time. I think there's a chance Timo stays, and there's also a chance he leaves. We just don't know. Again, but in the case of Broja, clubs feel like they feel maybe, uh, excuse me, that there's a chance Thomas Tuchel is planning to bring in another striker in, or maybe they're getting signals from Broja's camp. You don't know; these things do happen. They don't just come to ask if the club is willing to sell a player if they don't sense that they'd be successful in the beatings. So it's just as simple as that. Robert Lewandowski heading to Barca now, 100% is shows of Phantom starts the season on loan. Yeah, and enjoy your season on loan. Again, Lewandowski to Chelsea would have been a perfect combination, in my opinion. Here's why I argue against that. Is this we have an issue in the final thought. I think I've said this like 10 million times now, that most people don't seem to pay attention to. And here's the issue is this. We play as a unit when we defend. But one of the reasons why we don't score as many goals as we should be scoring during games is this. When we get to the final thought, everybody wants to be the hero. And I don't think that would be good for Lewandowski because we need to solve that problem first before we'll be able to accommodate him in the team. But if he goes to a team like Manchester City, he'd score quite a lot of goals because you could argue Manchester City, they have the least selfish attack in the league, where no matter how well placed a player is at Manchester City, they'd always, first of all, look if there's another player who's better placed than the player with the ball before they make a decision. But that's, by the way, I want to say thank you for Bobby for that, finding the time to join the panel today. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well, brother. How are you doing? Are you there, Bobby? Have I lost you, or you? It's taking a while to unmute your mic.
Yeah, sorry. I'm working, so it's kind of a bit of a balancing act. I just thought I'd try and pop in
Mhm.
and catch up. It's been a while, yes.
Yes, it's been a while, and I understand you're busy, but that's okay. Bills don't pay themselves, and I understand. And you do this because you love the club, because the passion you have for the club, not because you earn anything from that. So much thank you. And
Absolutely.
if you're in the chat already, take a second to say thank you for Bobby for always supporting all Chelsea channels. And that's not easy. So Bobby, I want to start with you with this comment on the screen here. Again, if you are in the chat, I'm going to say it in case you didn't hear me. Take a second to say thank you to Bobby for all the love he shows to all content creators. Without a discrimination, it doesn't matter the size of your channel or who you are. Bobby, I want to start you with this comment here, Thomas Tuchel comment. I think after asking those in the chat to give me their opinion on what they think it means, I think you could argue Just Viola had the most, you know, you could say detailed explanation or the best analogy, or maybe of what this really means. I want to get your thoughts on that. Or do you want me to read it out for you?
What's this to your video?
It says, Tuchel on Broja, Armando is our player, first of all. And at the moment, we have no interest in selling him. He's here to make an impression after he played on loan at Southampton. Some people are already interpreting it as he's going to stay. But I think we should look at it cautiously, and I understand what it means. For me, I'd say, okay, the three word there in a phrase, if you ask me, at the moment means it depends on how well he does during the preseason. There's a chance he still goes. It's not. There's no. This is no. It doesn't guarantee that he stays.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, because of these clickbaiters and brown envelopes,
Mm-hmm.
as they are called, knowing how sale fickle Chelsea
Mm-hmm.
fans can be, they come out with these things. Thomas Tuchel made a statement. Yes, Thomas Tuchel, is he going to get rid of Armando Broja right now? No. Were there bids for Broja? Yes. Were they rejected? Yes. So, sell players FC within Chelsea FC, keep hanging on and feeding these people that are pushing narratives. Sometimes they use Chelsea to get better deals for other players that they know full well won't be leaving the clubs or won't be coming to Chelsea. Or, I try to now start to get out of that. Look at Real Madrid fans and the club. They said, right, we've got all our players, and boy, do they have players. They have 6 centre backs. And they said, look, we're not really going to do any more business. And nobody moans about their 6 centre backs. They have youth systems, they have youth players. They don't always played. People eye up their youth players, but they don't. But you see, they have a good grip of the media propaganda machine, so they can govern what goes out and what hasn't gone out, what doesn't. Chelsea haven't learned that yet. They didn't really learn it in the Abramovich era. I hope now that the Clear Lake era are in, that will be something they'll pick up on, because we allow too many stories to come up that are destabilizing stories, and we allow it to run and run and run and run because we're not giving out black, brown envelopes like the others. Unfortunately, that's how the world works. So do I think Broja is going? No. Do I think we will get in another striker? Well, Lewandowski is not coming to Chelsea. We don't want Cristiano, who's too old. And is there anybody better? I very much doubt it. We need to perhaps give him a chance. We've got Raheem Sterling now, who the manager really wanted. Do I think it's enough? I'm not sure. I think time will tell. Do you know what? This squad now is a true test of the manager, in my opinion. There's nothing that really, really excites me. And at the same time, it seems functional. So it's really going to be a squad that will tell us more about the manager than about the players itself. Even the signing of Koulibaly. Yeah, we need to focus on our defense, most definitely. What is out there? Well, he's amongst the best. I'm still very disappointed about the De Ligt thing. I think De Ligt is a huge benefit. I would have rather have them both. But it seems he's probably going to Bayern, and I'm happy that we've got more or less one of the best out there at the moment. But there is a question mark: is it now 6-7 years too late because of his age? Only time will tell. That's the concern I have.
I wouldn't. Here's the thing, Bobby. I wouldn't say it's too late. Remember, Thiago Silva was older than him when he joined us, and him, Koulibaly is I think he's just 31. I'm using the word just because players these days, they've found ways to take good care of themselves, to play even longer, and that's especially true when you talk about intelligent players. Koulibaly, go ahead.
It's more likely than not that will be the case. Although I think Thiago Silva is an exceptional case, and I think his performances is because he's under Thomas Tuchel that knows how to use him. If he was left in a flat back 4, he would be exposed and probably humiliated a bit, like we found on occasion, like when he first came against West Brom. Because of that lack of pace. So I trust that Tuchel will know how to use them well. But I'm just saying that with all the positives, there is still that unseen thing of how Koulibaly will actually do in the Premier League at his age. That is just the reality. I hope, it seems he will do well. But, that's always a negative with a player that age. And that's that's just something we have to wait and see. Should we be upset about the signing? Absolutely not. We should be pleased that we have a signing, but we need more. Should we keep Levi Colwill? Well, since we're not getting Ake, it seems as if, who was actually just too expensive, it seems as if Thomas Tuchel has decided that Levi is good enough, as at least within the rotation.
That's a question mark in that he missed the opening training session here at Las Vegas. And by the way, again, I had the chance. Lee Zion called me actually if he wanted to see if I'd join him because he was outside the stadium videoing the people as they were arriving. I couldn't make it because he called me very late. But that's, by the way, what I want to say is I think there's a question mark on Levi Colwell's future still because he missed the open session training at Las Vegas, and we don't know the reason why yet. There's a chance he had maybe he had a knock or something like that, but we'll see. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, I won't read anything into that. This is pre-season
until it's official.
No, I'm not going to read anything into it at all. It's pre-season. The manager has not said he doesn't want him, and he said he wants to look at him. Of course, he wants to look at him. People forget Levi Colwell's 19 years old. He's in no position to demand to do anything. He's still under contract. So if we want to loan him, he cannot demand to be sold. That's ridiculous.
Go ahead. Go ahead when you're done.
But even if we do sell him, we can put a buyback. It is within our rights. And I think really he's going to be part of the rotation. This is a better opportunity for him to learn. There's Thiago Silva to learn from. There's now Kalidou Koulibaly to learn from. One season playing with those two giants of the game is far better exposure than going to play in Huddersfield somewhere or something. He's done that now. So that's my opinion. So we have to wait and see what happens with him. But, do we need to get another defender? Absolutely we do. Most certainly we do. Because we've lost two and we need two more. We've got only Thiago Silva at the moment and Chalobah, which people seem to forget. And we need somebody else to be with Koulibaly, and then keep your likes of Colwill for rotational purposes. He cannot expect more than a rotational position unless he completely balls out, which is not going to happen. So that's where it is. I mean, is there anybody that we have got that really, really thrills you? No.
That's none. That's the truth. And again, about your argument regarding Levi Colwell, here's what I have to say. Again, like you mentioned, everything I wanted to say, you said exactly those things. And the truth is, there's no better place in the world right now for him to develop into a world-class, center half than Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah.
So that's why even if Thomas Tuchel decides tomorrow, he wants him to, go back out on loan again. I will be very angry, but there's nothing I can do about it. I hope what we're hearing that he wants to stay, and he's not asking to start every game. He wants to start again a good enough number of games that I think, people were making up stories saying he has attitude issues. He wants to start every BA starter or else he's gone. Again, even before he returned, even before the preseason started, even before the preseason camp opened, we started hearing stories on how he's said already if he's not going to be guaranteed, a sizable amount of game time, that he's going to leave. It turns out all those things are nonsense. And that's why here on Chelsea Perspective, when you say that, we ask you, did you speak with Levi Colwell? Because we like to keep it objective here. Go ahead, Bobby.
It's brown envelope stuff, brown envelopes and sell them fans, unfortunately. Levi has an excellent opportunity right now. Who else can he possibly get an example from other than the great John Terry? John Terry went out on loan and was almost about to be sold. Then he was called back, and while Ranieri was in charge, I think he came back before Ken Bates sold the club.
Mm-hmm.
And while Ranieri was in charge, he played as a rotational and learnt of Frank Leboeuf and Marcel Desailly, two
Mm-hmm.
World Cup winners. They weren't quite World Cup winners when they started, but eventually they were. I think that helped John Terry immensely. Ball distribution, physicality, positional play, leadership. All those things he picked up from two of the very, very best in the world that time. He will tell you that himself. So by the time John Terry was able to step in and take that permanent role in the centre-back position after Desailly left and finally retired, he was a well-schooled footballer. Levi Colwill could do far worse than stay back and learn his trade, polish off his trade from the likes of Thiago Silva and Kalidou Koulibaly. Thiago Silva in probably his last season of professional football. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
There's no better place for Kowa.
Who is advising that kid?
Mm-hmm.
Who's in his head? If it's his parents, I'm sorry, shame on you. What are you doing?
Yeah, and that it hasn't happened. So let's be cautious how we talk about that, because again,
but I'm worried for the kid because
if in fact he's planning on leaving, because we're not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, say such a thing. I do apologize. But, we can't be advising a youngster to walk away from such an opportunity. That it's an opportunity of a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? You've got Thiago Silva to be training with every day, playing alongside sometimes. You've got Khalid Koulibaly. My goodness. All you need is a season. Your game will change unless you're not serious. Please, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have, spoken of his parents or anything like that.
But that's, by the way, this thing's happened, and again, you recognize you made a mistake and you apologize, so that's fine. Limited forward Broja could be, in the team. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Again, before I continue actually reading the comment, I'm going to say something quickly on for those of us who are concerned about, which is only natural, Khalid Koulibaly's age. Again, I think his most important assets is his intelligence. His intelligence. Ty, you know why I love to talk about this. Again, the guy is again, just as much as just his in that class. When you talk about players who the most intelligent players in world football, he counts. He and Thiago Silva counts. And his intelligence is why I don't know if you've seen that clip. I always like to bring it up, where he pushed his teammate into position to stop opposition attack. That's how intelligent he is. Again, I think his intelligence will carry him to 34 plus, just like Thiago Silva. He'll still be playing because he reads the game very well, and he can orchestrate some good passes, but with his right foot. So again, I don't think his age should be of any concern for anybody. If you're watching again, thank you. We have 110 people watching and we have 40 likes. We can do better than that. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video, keep liking the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So thank you very much for all the tremendous support. We're approaching 5,000 subscribers. Right now we're at 4,412. That's not easy, and it's all because of you. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. On the question of right wing back, we need a number two for Reece James. We need a right winger because Ziyech is leaving. According to reports, Chelsea have entered the race to who join Anthony. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. I'm a bit confused. Again, I'm hearing also that we're trying to sign Jonathan Klaus, but none can be confirmed because we heard before that we've already put in 2 bids for delete. It turns out we haven't even spoken to Juventus about it officially. Again, I see it until the player is holding up the shirt and then there's an official statement by the club. That's when I believe it. I think we've all learned that too. You see how we're celebrating uh, Koulibaly's official announcement, even though there are reasons to argue that the deal has, had been completed 2 days ago or so. But we've learned not to believe everything we see, or to be cautious you know, how we, taking everything we see out there in the media. Again, there are other examples, but I'm not going to start naming names here. On the broadcast, I think I've seen that. I was watching our boys training. Raheem Sterling seemed very happy and excited to be with us. It was so pleasing to see he's a part of the family. Again, Moshe Sabete, good comment right there. All we have to do is continue praying that he starts well and then he gets the support he likes. I've always argued because he's a London boy, probably coming back to London, he will feel at home, and there's a chance he replicates his 2018, is it 2017, 2018, and then 2018, 2019 form, where he had tons of assists in terms of tons of goals. I hope he does well. Again, here says Herbert says if Chelsea would go for a centre forward, could Havertz play as on the wings, or no, probably as one of the eights? There's a chance he play on the wings too. But Havertz, I think you could. He will also do well as a second striker, but not as an out-and-out striker, or maybe as a false nine, because he always likes to get involved in the play. So whenever you play him there, you see him, drop back, drop deeper to support the play. What is signing Koulibaly? NX, I agree with you, a brilliant signing for us. I think he will, his mentality is one thing. His intelligence, his mentality, has a very good, a very strong mentality. And he has, he brings leadership too. And I think his purchase will benefit Edouard Mendy as much as Edouard Mendy's, being part of the squad will also benefit him. He speaks French, I believe. Thiago Silva speaks French. Edouard Mendy speaks French. So there will be improved communication between those starts. But we'll talk about how he really fits in the team. We'll see when we get to that. We need Kimpembe, not Kounde. Again, I'm all for what the manager wants. We've always called for the manager to be backed, and I think the club, they're doing that now. But let's see what happens. Here's Albert says, Coach, I do like Chelsea indeed, but keep in mind that comes after AC Milan. Oh, thank you,
Good.
Thank you for yeah.
I was going to say, as I've said, I've always been a little kind of lukewarm about the whole Raheem Sterling thing. Welcome to Chelsea, and he definitely has my support 100% as a Chelsea player. However, one thing I've been very, very impressed with Raheem is his attitude. He's come here and he's walked in and he's got stuck in. Now, if he laces that with some good performances, I can assure you fans will really, really be on his side. Attitude for us is everything, and he's a London boy anyway, and he knows, he knows what it takes. Koulibaly, I hope he has the same attitude, but this is the point I was making about getting players in for pre-season, especially the defenders. We don't have time. I like how Todd Bowley does things. He's decisive, brutal, straight to the point, drop your money, do the deal. If it can't be done, walk away. Unlike what we were doing in the past. He's very, very fast and to the point. Now, he needs to get that other defender in, get them to LA, get them all training, because the defense is where the rehearsal and their positioning and everything has to be really, really spot on. Not that that's not the case for forwards, but from the way Tuchel seems to want to do his forward play, they're going to be very fluid. And that might be easier to rehearse because you're dealing with a talented bunch of lads than the defense, that even if they are talented, they have to know each other, they have to feel each other, they have to get used to the positions they play, the strengths they have, the orders they'll get from the back from people like Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. Another thing I'm really happy about is that Chalobah had Rudiger to learn from, as well as Thiago Silva. Now Koulibaly is here. That is an added step that I think he'll really benefit from. Don't be surprised to see a big improvement in his game next season as well.
Yeah. Ty, how are you? How are you doing, Ty?
Well, they they confirmed Koulibaly while I was sleeping, so that I had to wake. Well, it is the best thing to wake up to, though.
Yeah, it
Seeing
is. It is a good news indeed.
yeah.
Best thing to work up to. Yeah. So Ty, quickly, let's get again. Let's get Let me get you up to par to where we are. Your thoughts on this comment by Thomas Tuchel, paraphrase here, I think, by Vince. Your thoughts?
You have to simply be ready with first and want to make a semi. Yes, this is something.
I think this is not the one I'm looking for. Apologies. That's one. The one I'm looking for is his comment on, this one here. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
This one that says, Tuchel and Broja, Armando is our player, first of all, at the moment. Let me just remove that so you don't read it like I'm doing. At the moment, we have no interest in selling him. He's here to make an impression after he played on loan at Southampton. Your thoughts there? What do you make of that statement?
Yeah. For me, I think like I was listening to the stream from the beginning, and when you were talking about this, and when you highlighted that, and you made a point that at the moment, which in a sense it doesn't mean that it's a case where he's gonna be staying. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's staying. What that does do though is that it leaves room for assumption and to assume things. Because some people look at it to say at the moment there's no interest in selling him, but if the right bid comes in, they will consider it and they may sell him. And then some other people look at it and say that at the moment he wants to see what he'll do this season, and then make the decision from there. But for me, I don't think that this guarantees that he's staying at the club. I think right now I don't think Tuchel's gonna come out and say that Armando Broja is a good player, but right now we're just gonna try to get some money for him and we're gonna sell him and then we're gonna let him go somewhere else by selling him. I don't think he's gonna do that. No manager's gonna come out and say I'm going to sell this player because I don't think he's gonna do what I'm trying to do. I don't think he's gonna do that. No, but with Broja, I think everything is just going in a direction where he may end up being sold. I mean, he's been assessed by Tuchel. I'm pretty sure he's had the same amount of days as Sterling has had because they came together in terms of playing arrival. So I think in that sense it's a case where that injury that it's not injury, that little not that he picked up, it's something that in a sense could hamper probably him impressing. And I mean Tuchel has said in the past that he's seen what he's done at Southampton and he's impressed. But even though you were showing another tweet, and I mean about the youth players as well, what this basically is saying that he's not. Although people will say that he doesn't like to use youth players. Basically, what he's saying is that if you're willing to fight, if you're willing to put in the extra work, then you
get a chance.
You have a chance. And I mean, that he used the example that Chalobah is a role model, and that's the way I look at it. I mean, in recent years, you can probably say last year in particular, Chalobah. Not many people are considering Chalobah to come into the team because when we have preseason games, you're like, okay, we have these players on here. He's gonna go on loan. But he was impressive in the little games that we had. I remember the Bournemouth game, the Arsenal game, and then because of the performances that he had, he was trusted for the Super Cup game, and then eventually he was given his Premier League debut, where obviously we know how that went, and then he scored a goal and everything. And even though the intention was still to loan him out, I mean, in the end, it was a blessing in disguise, because he ended up becoming a crucial player in the team as season progressed. So I think, in a sense, even with I don't want to assume that this is what in a situation where these players are saying that, oh, I've done good on loan, I should be in this team because this team doesn't have what I can offer. I don't think that's the case, but I do think that if those players are not willing to fight and put in the extra work, then they cannot be expecting to be given a chance without putting in the work. Yes, they did good on loan, but at the same time, the mindset you should have is that keep your head down, try to impress the manager, let the manager notice that you have that fighting spirit, and then maybe then he'll be encouraged to give you a chance. You can't be expecting, just because you did good on a loan, that you're going to be demanding a position in the team. So I think, even though I don't think that's per se the situation, it's quite easy to believe that that's the case, because considering the fact that you're hearing certain things that, oh, he's doing this, and for example, Levi Colwell is asking for assurance that he'll be getting good enough amount of game time. He can't demand that, or he can't ask for that right now without putting the work. And I mean, people say that, oh, look at the players like we have. Malang Sarr was not impressive last season. Why is it that he has to work and start swinging the team? There's situations surrounding around that, because yes, Malang Sarr has been poor, but he's also had good games, and you can see that there's a good player in there. But I do think that is a case where, although Tuchel saw what he did for Huddersfield, and the playoffs game, how after that own goal, he didn't let his head drop, and how courageous he was, and how he fought, and he was key to them not conceding any further. But at the same time, it's just a case where, in a situation like this, if they don't work hard, they can't expect to make it into the team. And yes, people say that give them a chance, and then if you give them a chance, you'll see what they can do. But at the same time, it has to be a balance of both. They have to work hard, and then Tuchel has to cooperate with them and meet them halfway. It can't be one way where, because they're a youth player, they should just be given the chance because they've been at the club for years.
Yeah, I'm still hopeful. Again, I understand the statement. I think it's carefully worded, and Thomas Tuchel is a very smart man. He doesn't want to make it, come across to the player that he's promised him that he's going to stay. And there's a chance that the players' camp understands that. And again, like I said, West Ham wouldn't put in a 30 million plus pounds bid if they're not getting any sort of signal, either from the players' camp or the player himself, in case Chelsea decides to sell. That doesn't mean that Chelsea will sell. In case Chelsea decides to sell, because they're out there searching for a striker, and they're actually looking at Kamaka, of which I heard first of all from Bobby here, and I'm surprised why we're not looking at him. Maybe he doesn't fit, the profile player that Thomas Tuchel wants in the squad. But that's by the way. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone watching. We have 125 people watching, and we have 44 likes. Let's try and get at least 200 likes today. So if you haven't, please keep liking the video, and thank you to all the likes. I just quickly again, to bring you up to par. That's where we're at right now. I want to get your thoughts on the signing of this brother right here. Again, are you concerned about anything? His age? Are you concerned it take time for him to adapt to the Premier League? Just all the concerns you've heard people talk about, in the media, on Twitter, and all those social media platforms where you have presence. Let us know. Are you concerned, or let us know, or you just happy he'd do it for us?
For me, I think it may take him probably maybe a game or two to probably fully adjust to the league. I think in a sense, we do know that you do have a lot of high press, and you have a lot of pacey counter attack teams being in the Italian league and everything. But I do think that it may take him probably 2 games or probably some time to probably adjust to the league. I think he'll do fine. I don't agree with the fact that, oh, he's 31, he's this, he's that. Why are you signing players like this? You need experience, and I mean, for me, as much as Rudiger did well, I think the personality of Koulibaly is an improvement in some regard. I mean, you mentioned the video that I found funny, but at the same time I found it very smart. He pushed the other defender who he was backing off Mbappe, and he pushed him because he was telling Koulibaly to go and mark him and try to add pressure to him. But he had quick thinking, and the funny thing is it worked out in a sense because Mbappe drifted to the left and tried to cut in, and Koulibaly pushed the defender into position, and it forced Mbappe to go backwards and to make a pass elsewhere because he couldn't get past the player. So I think in that sense that is something that you need, and I mean Rudiger had that level of aggression in him, where he'll demand a lot from the team. You see it in some games, but with Koulibaly, he's quite similar to Rudiger. He's aggressive on the pitch. He has great intensity, but he's not a person where you hear that in the dressing room. He's arguing with people. He's fighting with the manager. He's falling out. The reputation that he has is one of somebody who he does the work on the pitch, and in a sense, it's like a mixture of Rudiger and Kante. Kante, well, the Kante of past years, rather, because Kante hasn't really been the same since last season. But you see that he's aggressive. He does the job, but at the same time, he smiles a lot. He's not a person who you'll be hearing is causing trouble in the dressing room, and he's not that type of player. And you do have a couple of players like that, and that's the attitude that you need. Players that are easygoing, players who have a good reputation. And you mentioned the fact that he could end up probably going up to the same age as Silva, because in a sense he takes care of his body as well. So I think in that sense it's something that could help him. It's down to if it's a case where fatigue creeps in, the older you get, your bones become a bit weaker and everything, and they become an issue. But at the same time, I think we always say that as defenders, it's easier for you to play up to a certain age. And obviously, there's only been Ronaldo who's been able to probably surpass the regular or customary age for attackers before they retire. But I think with defenders, they have and even goalkeepers, they have a longevity period where they can probably go past 33, 35 and still be able to offer much if they take care of their body. Pepe is an example. He got older and he was still being able to play. Maldini, I think, is another example you can use. So I do think, in a sense, he's a personality that would benefit the team. And if Levi Cole opts to stay and accepts that it will take him time to probably get himself in the team, he can probably try to look at the personalities of a Silva and Koulibaly and decipher upon himself that what, these players are doing it at the highest level, and I'm young, because he's still 19. He's a very young player, and it's not, and as long as nothing happens to him in terms of where it forces him to retire or anything, he has time on his side where he can say that I can make my mistakes, and then eventually, because all the top defenders all had an awful experience. We know John Terry, he the penalty miss, he cried. He sat down and was crying. But as years went on, he became valuable to the team, and he was important. I mean, we always know that him and Carvajal and players like that was key because he was given that trust at a very young age to lead the team. So I think if he looks at the past experiences of a John Terry and players like that, because I know he's compared to John Terry, which sometimes I don't like comparing players to those players because that's adding too much pressure on them before they've gotten anywhere in their career. I think if he looks at the situation and say that I can get to a certain level where I can be relied upon as a Silva is being relied on, or a Koulibaly has done in recent years for Napoli, maybe then he can look up and say that in a couple of years. And I was hearing Bobby mentioned that Silva could be leaving, and he could be leaving the club by at the end of the season. So he needs to be patient, and this is what these players have to do. I know it's different positions, but you can look at the situation of a Phil Foden. Phil Foden, they didn't loan him out, so obviously that's a difference. But he was able to accept that, I'm young, I'll accept a couple of games here and there, and until I'm given a role where I feel trusted by the manager, where he trusts me in certain games, and that's the situation you see with Foden. He plays in big
Yeah.
games, Champions League. So if he looks at that, and there will always be players who want to be the ones immediate addition to the team and to play games. Obviously, that was a situation with Guhi, and obviously tomorrow is a different situation. He was sold, but at the same time,
Yeah.
having the right attitude is important. And although he has the right attitude, he also supposedly has the wrong attitude if he believes that he should be getting game time immediately after coming from a loan, where it's a step up, but at the same time he needs to understand that he's young
Yeah.
still, and he won't be trusted immediately, and it will benefit him if it is not put too much
Mhm.
pressure on.
Yeah, thank you very much for that input, Ty. Again, in fact, a detailed one, and I appreciate that. I just want to recognize the presence of Johnny Mineros LC. Again, if you haven't, be sure to check out Johnny's YouTube channel.
Oh, big up to Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Mineral LC. It's pretty much new, but he's getting closer to 1,000 subscribers. We can help him reach there as soon as possible. So
Hey,
if you haven't,
big up Johnny.
yeah, big up Johnny.
Johnny!
And Johnny,
This is
go
the
ahead.
weirdest thing ever.
Yes,
Because
Johnny.
I thought they had a similar voice in the beginning. So this
Yeah,
just seems
and
weird.
Johnny said big up just South and big up Bobby. He recognized Bobby is on the panel here. Johnny, thank you very much. I appreciate you finding time,
Johnny keeps
to
it real.
participate in the chat here. That means a lot to me. I cannot thank you enough. Go ahead, Bobby. You wanted to say something?
Johnny really keeps it real. It's from him I got the terms brown envelopes. We all know what you mean by that. It's Johnny. Johnny's a top man. And he's paid a price, for keeping it real. People haven't always been fair to him. They've blocked him. They've done things, but he still keeps it real. That's why I love.
Yeah, the
Johnny
truth remains, more people will appreciate him than those that will dislike him. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you got my argument there. So again, I want to say thank you to Phantom. Phantom says, can you go stream your live on mobile tomorrow at the stadium? Your own broadcast at a live event is not a copyright strike. You think so? But I wouldn't start showing the full game. I can maybe do a live stream of the players warming up, but not when the game starts. I'll be showing the full game. No, I have no right to that. You have to purchase a right to do that. Again, and everything I show, again, I think will be beat by beat. That's just that. And Ronaldo is better than Broja, regardless of his age. Well, we're not actually gonna, that comparison, I think it's unfair. Really, really unfair. I must let you know. We know, again, he says a better winger. Who is that? Let us know. Atem Simon, let us know. You sound like a caliber brother, but let us know. He's not going to sell Broja, but it's kind of shows that he still has some doubts when it comes to him. That's why he's commented that way. Again, if you want, if that's how you read it, that's you. It says, can we sign Kimp and Kounde? It's not up to us. We can talk about it here from from morning till night. It all comes down to what the club and the manager wants to do. And if they, I'm not going to question any player that the manager wants to go and get. It's something that the club decides to go and get. It means the manager wants that player in question, because we've been told that the club will not go for any player that the manager doesn't want, which means that whatever player they're going for, it will be the manager's choice. So again, I hope you understand that argument. Mostly Tuchel says that Broja must earn his place. Again, that's another way to interpret it. And I'm glad I'm seeing a lot of people here, coming up what they think is an interpretation of what the manager said. But that one also makes sense. You could look at it that way. Why we didn't lose a game with the back four system? I never paid attention to that. It didn't even occur to me that we didn't lose a game whenever we played back four system, but I'll check it again. We did not Kimp and everything. What is saying? Trust me, with one more top CV, we will be on fire even without a number 9. Number 9 isn't the problem. Getting the number 9, if we under Thomas Tuchel, actually, I wouldn't even advocate getting the traditional number 9, and I'm tired of talking about it already. Chalobah had a great season last season. It's definitely good enough to start. But if we could get a Kimpembe, would be slightly better. Kimpembe played mostly on the left-hand side. Am I right, Ty? Chalobah is on the right-hand side. I think if we get...
The probably would you probably say would be a challenge to Chalobah is probably if Tuchel opts to play Koulibaly on his preferred foot on the right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, if on the right hand side, if we sign Kounde, that's when you say Chalobah has a real competition, because Kounde plays mostly on the right hand side. Am I right? So again, so right now I don't think Chalobah has. He doesn't. I wouldn't say it's a concern with Chelsea after all. So if we get Kounde, it is good for the club. You got my point now. So it's not. I'm not going to be concerned about Chalobah. And if you read what Chalobah said when he has asked about his thoughts on the centre backs that the club has bought, and there's a chance the club will sign more centre backs. If you read it, you understand he has a strong mentality. He understands it's all about competition. If you want to be on the pitch, you'd have to be better than the person that's competing with you for a particular position. And I'm glad he knows that. So that makes a huge difference. Yes, Ty, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was saying that's why I admire his attitude.
Yeah, he has a very good mentality. Right now we have 124 people watching and we have 56 like. Remember, we shooting for 200 likes by the end of the show, and we're pretty much we're beyond halfway through 100 at least. 100. So keep liking the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to skip to the very bottom, and the Queen of the House says hit the like button, and also please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you for all the tremendous support. I sincerely do appreciate that. Kounde unlikely, Kimpembe advanced. Again, I never say never. Let's see what happens. I'm going to skip to the very bottom because we're switching topics now, and apologies if I skip any of your comments there. I'm just trying to catch up. We don't want a situation where if we're talking about a particular topic, then I'll read a comment from somebody in the chat, and then it will take us back. We'll be going back and forth. I says a big up, just something big up. I've read that before. Thank you very much, Johnny. Nice to see you, and thank you for subbing. I'm already subbed to your channel, and I know you recognize when I came out when I stopped by your stream yesterday. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So now we are likely to miss out on what player are you referring to? Please do let me know. And Johnny says, big up lads and minerals all around. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So right now I will be at the very bottom. It says Chalobah tweet is on fire. Can you share with me? I'd like us to really look at it. Moshe says Arsenal just signed Zinchenko. Probably he's trying to, it looks like Arteta is trying to replicate how Man City plays. But we'll see. Hi, I just subscribed like I did with Johnny. I like this channel for its mature, sensible conversations. Thank you very much, Zola25. I appreciate that. By the way, I like your name. It is one of a kind, so don't change it with time. As Johnny says, keep it real. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll always try our best to keep it objective here, and I appreciate all the support, and thank you for subscribing. Yeah, I've read that before. Chalobah, please share with us. Broja going to stay here. I said it. Yeah, I remember you said it like 5 times yesterday, and I hope he stays. If Broja stays, he will definitely get his chance. Patience is key from his perspective. The only issue is these players, they're well aware that there are no shortage of clubs willing to pay the asking price, or even more to get him on a permanent. So that's why West Ham is they're tempting Chelsea to see if Chelsea wants to say. So, Bobby, I'll start with you again because this is one of the stuff we have lined up to talk about here. Tuchel on young players needing to make a stand. you have to simply be ready. The players that come up from loan and want to make a statement here, they are invited. Trevor Chalobah is the role model. He came and then started in the Super Cup last season, and that surprised everybody because nobody knew he was going to start. And probably because he was ready, he did enough during the preseason games, and he got a real opportunity, which was, you could argue, the UEFA Super Cup, and he took that opportunity. Again, I want to get your thoughts on that, Bobby, this statement right here.
You know, for the youngsters, the major thing is your attitude. Trevor Chalobah had very, very much the right attitude, as well as the ability, of course. He's not quite the finished article, but you need to get yourself to a position where you're close enough and people can see you going over the line. I think Levi Colwill is not exactly, because Trevor was just a little bit older, but he's at that point where, yes, he can show the right attitude. Mm-hmm. Yes, if he stays with and learns from Silva and Koulibaly, it will help his career no ends wherever he ends up. And by the next season, he can really, if he applies himself right, be pushing for a starting place. Now, there's one area that the youngsters may look at, because in every system, you look at where there's a need and if you can fit into that need. Because now with the purchase of Koulibaly, Chelsea's next centre-back purchase has to be pace. Has to be somebody with a lot of pace, because
balance is key.
Yeah, you know, Rudiger had a lot of pace. I'm not sure what pace Koulibaly has left.
He's quick, actually.
That's why I put left, you know, because he's of his age. We're yet to see. And we know that Thiago Silva, you know, because of his age, the pace isn't quite what it was. He relies on his brain and positioning. He has some good pace. He has enough pace. But, you know, there are lots of very, very quick forwards in the Premier League. So we need pace. And that's why I think we will get either Jules Kounde or Kimpembe. Now, both of them, there is some negative information out there. Some people don't think Jules Kounde is quite as good as we're making him out to be. Mm-hmm. That there are issues with him, certainly as a right wing back, not being comfortable doing that. Moving the ball forward, not being too great with that. And that his strengths are his pace and his leap to get in the air and his tackling. So, I mean, that's left to be seen. Kimpembe, we hear that, you know, he may have a mistake in him, and he is a bit raw. The sort of diamond that Tuchel likes to clean up, really. So I don't know. I think
here's the argument when you talk about the Kimpembe case. The talks. Go ahead. When you're done.
I think where Kimpembe has an advantage is that he is left-sided, and right now we've bought a right-sided defender in Koulibaly. We've got a right-sided defender in Chalobah. We've really got a right-sided defender in Thiago Silva. So we really, really need a left-sided defender. And we've got a young Levi Colwill, who will always be rotational. He's not going to be the main man. I'll be surprised if he is so early. So it looks more likely, if it's possible, that we go for Kimpembe, who is left-sided, than Jules Kounde.
Yeah. Again, I understand your arguments there. Look at what I wanted to say regarding the arguments against Kimpembe. Sometimes he makes rash tackles and all that. I think he's gotten better over time because I watch a lot of their games. And again, it is something the more experienced it is, the more polished a player he will be in terms of making those rash decisions and all, you know, getting cards and all that. I think it'd be better. Do I think Thomas Tuchel will be the one to make a difference? I'd say no, because it's him it's Kimpembe himself, because he started. You could say wasn't it Thomas Tuchel that gave him his debut, or maybe Thomas Tuchel gave him more game time because he started as a youngster. He's been at PSG since he was 10 or so. So I think it's something that will go away with time. It happens with he's not that young anymore, but I think he will shade that aspect of his game, if you understand what I mean. And still on Kimpembe here, we have he says Zinchenko verbally agreed not completed a Cucurella to replace him. Okay, no, okay, thank you for explaining that. I appreciate that. And here, Willie Kai says, if all these young players are not willing to take their time and work harder to get into the team, then they should be sold out, and with a buyback clause in the future. It's not that simple. It is not actually not that simple. And again, what we're hearing, there's no way, like Triple is saying here, to confirm. For instance, in the case of Levi Colwell, even before preseason started, I believe this is the second time I'm saying this today. The rumors were out there that he's saying if it's not going to be a starter at Chelsea Football Club, he's going to leave. And then again, just a few days ago, we heard he says he's not asking to start every game. He's just asking at least to play, to be accommodated and play games. He'd be willing to be patient, to put in the work and something like that. So let's always not just judge these kids from what we're hearing out there. It just doesn't make sense. Kounde, sing his name all you like. Some people arguing he's Barcelona bound. We don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Kimpembe or Kounde, not possible to get a two deal. I don't know if we're looking to get them both, serious about getting them both, but there's a chance we're looking at them at both. I'm not sure what the club wants to do. I like Litha that says, I like Chalobah's mentality and his willingness to learn from his experienced teammates. He is going far. It's as simple as that. If you're patient, if you're willing to learn, if you don't feel like you know it all, then you become better at what you do. It's as simple as that. 50 million for Kimpembe, PSG, no discount at the deal. And again, we've heard some stuff, conflicting reports there that sounds like it's all rumors, that we're not even serious about him. His coach says they've talked about the rumors linking the player to Chelsea, and they've laughed about it. But there's no guarantee whether that's the truth also, because we haven't seen any videos showing the coach and Kimpembe talking about it and laughing. So that's why you call it nonsense until something happens. Tuchel requested 3 center backs, so 2 more deals possible. So okay. And again, what's an alternative for Kimpembe if we cannot get him? I'm not sure. I'm not an expert for finding, or let me say I'm not a scout, but I'm not sure who to suggest to the club. But we'll find out. Now, I wanted to, Ty, I haven't gotten your thoughts on, this statement here by Thomas Tuchel. And I really would like to show that tweet by, what's his name? Chalobah. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, I started speaking a bit on it when they asked about the Broja one, but the example you use with Chalobah being their role model is a good point, because I was saying that in a sense, Chalobah worked hard. I mean, his story in a sense is very sad. He lost his mother and everything, and he tweeted something years ago saying that he's going to make her proud. He's gonna make it. And after he scored that goal against Crystal Palace, he went back to it and said that he made that promise, that he made it. And that is the attitude that he has. It's inspirational, and I think in a sense it's something that he deserved. He deserved this chance, and he took the chance, and he worked for it. So I think in that sense, using him as an example to say that he's a role model, and each time a player comes through the ranks like that, they're going to always be looked at as a role model for younger players who are probably 10, 11, 12 going up. They will say that, in the beginning, because it's like a chain. Chalobah said that he looked at the likes of James and Mount and Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi as players to look up to say that things like that's going to happen. I'm going to get my opportunity. So in a sense, Tuchel saying that the young players need to make a stand. In a sense, it means that then they need to prove themselves. If they don't prove themselves, they can't get the opportunity. Players like Harvey Vale were given little appearances and a start because he proved what he could do in training. Tuchel watched him for the youth team and brought him into the first team training. He impressed, and that eventually made him be a part of the squad and the traveling squad as well. So I think, in a sense, they need to make a stand for themselves in a sense where, when they get the opportunity to probably be a part of the first team training or in preseason, in this case, try to prove that, if I get the opportunity, I'll take it. I'll work head on, and I'll try to do what I can and probably try to impress the manager. And those are the things you're hearing. Even Ampadu himself said that he's ready to play in any position that the manager wants to. He just wants to work hard and play. And even Chalobah himself said that he did well, but he also wants to fight and do better and to perform better, and and to play with more intensity and improve on what he did last season. So that is something that no satisfaction, and that's what players should be aiming to. Even if they score 20 goals in all competition, which is unrealistic, but you just use that example, they should always try to aim higher, always get out of the limitation level and try to improve each season. And that's what players try to do. Every season they try to do better and improve on something that they've done. We've seen that with Reece James, for example, the first season that he was playing, he had a little mistake in him. He never used to take on defenders much, but slowly every season that went by, he started to go forward, offer more creativity. And he was always a creative player. At Wigan and everything, he was scoring goals. He was being used as a midfielder, and as a result, he slowly improved his game. He tried to develop it unto the point where he's being looked at as a long-term player, as a right back or as a right wing back, depending on which one you want to use. So I think, in a sense, if they have the right attitude and they push themselves, having patience to say that, oh, I'm disappointed that I wasn't selected, because they will be disappointed if they're not selected. But at the same time, they should have an understanding that sometimes the manager will choose players on a certain day based on what he wants from those sets of players, and then maybe the next game they get to play. So they need to understand that even sometimes they may get 10 games or 15 games, and even that is a lot of games for some players. They need to understand that through time they could get more game time, and Chalobah himself has made a name for himself. So calling him a role model is ideal, because he had a sub story and he had a story that he tried to fight through all the pain and grief that he had to sustain, and to at such a young age. So it's unfortunate, but he had the right spirit, and that is why I like these players who they had to experience something horrible. I'm not saying that it's good that happened to them, but at the same time, them fighting through and using that as a motivation to push through the adversity that they had to face. It's something good, and I always like those players who have that type of attitude.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ty. I appreciate that. We'll look at the tweet from him, and also or something that kind of like I said. I think we have players from the academy who have strong mentality, who understand that they have to work for it. For things to happen for them. It just doesn't happen by you snapping your finger or by you just being good enough. There's still more work to do. Kowa show request. No, I don't think he did. Show us where he did that. Show us the paper where. Again, Cowell has now requested a move, stop staring. Again, we have to be careful what we say here. Keep it objective. I would say Eric Tapsova or Ivan Ndika if we cannot get Kimpembe. Again, those are players I cannot pretend I know them. I won't pretend because I don't know them. I wish Cowell gets a chance and takes that left centre-back position. He might save the club money. He will save the club a lot of money, and that is if we don't buy, Kimpembe and keep him. But again, both can still come in. We can still get Kimpembe and still keep Cowell, and both can rotate, and show that none of them get, burns out. It's as simple as that. Rotation is key. Cowell, Chalobah, Silva, Sarr, Koulibaly, Kimpembe, Kounde must leave I'm not sure you're confusing me here. I'm not sure, but again, thank you for your inputs there. Again, stop Saren Sarr can go. If we retain a back three, then 5 or 6 centre backs. Right now, players are trying to move to prove themselves. That's what it is. It is a preseason. He says, Coachila, check your okay, Chalabas tweet. Thank you very much for sending it to me. I think I've seen it myself. I'm going to share what we have here. I think we have some players, who has, you can say their future is bright given their mentality at their age right now. I think I'm happy to see such. Let's start with the Chalaba tweet. Again, it's not a big statement, but it makes sense. It's a statement that when you understand what it means, then the kid has a very strong mentality. He understands how the world works. He understands whatever you want in life, you have to work for it, which means if he wants to be starting games, he has to work for it. Again, it says that nothing that is given, go get. Ty, again, we've talked about it, no need to stress out, to keep talking about it further. And I liked this one, and I have to highlight it. It's Conor Gallagher saying it's a massive summer. I will take every day as it comes. I have to do well in training, prove myself. I am looking forward to getting to work. To be honest, again, that's what you want to hear from a young player, and not again. There's no way to confirm everything we'll be hearing that the young player said. Things we're hearing, they said are all true. But again, we want to hear this, and this makes sense. This shows you that he understands that Thomas Tuchel is not his father. He thought he wouldn't get what he wants from Thomas Tuchel without putting in the shift, and that makes me happy. But that's, by the way, Ty. Let's move on to the next topic. I want to get your thoughts, and before we do that, I asked the chat. What do you think of Tuchel's statement on Broja? 57% says that he is definitely staying. 18% says the club will sell him eventually. And again, 24% says if another striker comes, he goes. Again, that's it's a mix of what people are thinking there. It's none of us are sure. But that's, by the way, Ty. Let me start with this one. What do you think of Chelsea reigniting their interest on Jules Kounde? But there's no way to tell that is the truth. If that's the truth, what do you think so far? Do you think we'll be able to get him, or do you think he will eventually join Barcelona?
Honestly, I try not to get my thoughts into a lot of what I say, but for me, I think this whole thing is stupid because. For me, he was waiting for the move. He was in London. He was waiting, was patient, and something that I cannot forget is the fact that he had to get mental help when the deal collapsed, and he spoke about it. He was frustrated. He didn't go to some training, but eventually he got over it, and he said it himself. But he was asked about it publicly, and he said that. Yeah, it was a move that he was looking forward to, but it's in the past now, and he's gonna have to work towards the future. So I think, in a sense, making a promise that you or supposedly making a promise to him that you're gonna be coming back and try to obtain him, it's gonna be frustrating to him. And I know you've mentioned in the past that he's made some cryptic messages, and it's all like he's addressing a club.
Yeah, probably when he thought maybe Chelsea are no longer interested.
Yeah, so in that in a sense, to me, I he's a player that I would like to see come in, but I just don't think that it would be easy to obtain him now, particularly for the fact that not only Barcelona are interested, there are reports. And although now that Ake could be staying, I'm not really sure if they're gonna have slots open because they do have Laporte still who wants to stay. Ruben Diaz is still there. They have other players as well. So I'm not really sure on if that is attainable for them. But for me, I still have this concern that he's going to look at the fact that I was last choice. They didn't get their supposed first target, so they're going to come back to me now. That is not something that I think he would just look at lightly and say that, oh well, I'm last choice, so I'm just gonna to go there. I think he's gonna be convincing because he was open to the move. There was promise made to him when he met Tuchel that they're gonna try for him, or
Mhm.
supposedly they're gonna try for him. So in a sense, if priorities shift, and as the window progressed, they realize that we need more experienced players. We want players who are not too young, but are not also too old. That they can't give us a couple of years, and that's why I think Koulibaly was being targeted. The Leeds was supposedly being targeted, and we made bids for him because he's young, but we tried to balance it. Oh, but for me, I just do not I don't feel like it's gonna be easy, and I think Barcelona being interested, I don't have confidence with them anymore because I don't know if they have like this magic thing where they hypnotize players to come to the club and accept some horrible wages, taking less on what they were earning before. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't understand why players want to go to a club that are making foolish financial decisions. But I mean that's not for me to think about because I think my head would probably explode thinking about it because I would not be able to grasp or understand anything that happens. But for me, the report saying that Kounde to Barcelona is more likely, and I mean if that's the truth, I wouldn't blame him because looking at the fact that you were so open to the club, you accepted personal terms, you were just waiting for a bid to be made for you so it could be official. I don't know if you're gonna be fine with that, and I don't think you'll be okay with it. I think you probably may look at Barcelona, who have always sustained that interest in him, but they were also focusing on targets that were probably key to them. I'm not really sure, and I think him being in the La Liga before, I think the risk is less there that he probably doesn't succeed as much because he's already in a league and he's thriving in that league. So if he stays there, it's easier for him to remain successful and probably be a part of the new project that Barcelona are trying to make. But I
Yeah, and
just
then earn chicken change. Hmm. If you want
yeah.
to talk about it, really. But I get your point, Ty. I'm just kidding. I ended up with earn chicken change after saying that he's gonna maybe he prefers the project. It will be easier for him to continue being successful because he's played there already. Then I want to bring up the point. How about the money aspect? Because it is business for the player,
Mm,
as it is as much as it is business for the club. But that's by the way I get your argument. And again, I'm sure he's well acquainted with the stories circling regarding how much they owe PK, how much they owe the young, and how that has affected the Young's transfer to Manchester United. And again, the fact that they inserted 400 plus million as a buy, as a buyout clause on players who signed for them, even those they got on a free. But that's by the way. Here, just Villa says, let's get the likes up, people. Come on, people. Let's keep doing that. We should, how many now? More. We need 32 more likes to get to 100 likes, and that's not easy. And I'm going to repeat myself again. We'd rather like the videos. Just keep liking the videos that donate to the channel because the truth is the likes would do more for the channel. There are other ways that the channel can make money. Again, if you like the videos, the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and the stream will be pushed to more people who would be interested in this particular topic. And the more people we have here, the more fun it will be. The more people will have to learn from because we learn from each other here. Even those being on the panel doesn't mean we know more than you do. There are those in the chat who are even more knowledgeable than some of us, and than all of us here on the panel. Let me just phrase it that way to be safe. But you get my point. We're here to learn from each other. We act, we contribute, we look at information together, dissect, analyze, and then come to a sensible conclusion. So thank you for all the support. Just 31 more likes to get to 100 likes. Again, Juve wants 90 to 100 million euros for Delete, so he's out. I don't think would pay that much money, but I wouldn't mind us paying that much money because given what he brings to the club, it's worth it for us. I remember it will be less in pounds, but that's by the way. And I don't think Bayern will be willing to pay that much money too. It remains to be seen. Chelsea don't have anyone who can score 20 goals a season. Chelsea need a goal scorer. The same issue The same conversation we had before we went for Romelu Lukaku, and look at how that panned out. And until it is not Thomas Tuchel, and I want him to stay as long as possible, I would not advocate for the club to spend a lot of money and go pay for a striker because we want to go score. And again, look at it yourself. Once you bring in a traditional striker, that person becomes a focal point. It becomes the point of reference in terms of us creating chances to score goals and us scoring goals. And we're talking about a single individual. That's how I see it. And especially on the Thomas Tuchel, I think it's a risk. It will be a huge risk to spend anything north of 50 million to get in a traditional striker for him. It just will not work. Again, that's my argument. But I get what you're saying. Very good. Okay, thank you very much. I'm not able to read what followed after. Okay, maybe you're responding to somebody. Juve wants 90 million for delete because they know Bayern just sold Lewandowski, so they probably want to squeeze out all this money from them. There's a chance that happens. Delete doesn't want to go. Again, tell us how you knew about that. Tell us how, when you had a conversation with him and he told you he doesn't want to come to Chelsea. Honestly, our attacking threat, at least last season, was poor. That is why Tuchel signed Sterling to improve it better. Again, you could argue he will help improve it, but that's no guarantee that the issues we had in the attacking area comes down to the players we had. There are factors to consider, but I'm not going to get into that argument at this point. Sterling won't score 20 goals a season. You sure? I think he's capable of doing that, but we'll see what happens. I say Dybala is a typical number 10, total a different player as Ronaldo. Why are we mentioning Dybala? I want to know. Explain. Barca are in pole position to sign Kounde according to reports from yesterday. No update as of yet. At Sevilla, we're hearing also Sevilla wants something north of 60 million or so. Well, we'll see. Chelsea need to sort out their front line. Guys, what happened to the Akidel? I think Man City are asking too much, if you ask me. I'm not sure what really happened. Kounde is overrated. Again, that's your argument. I'd argue he's a fine player. Sky announced Barca have a merchandise deal which takes levers to 600 million a year plus a Spotify shirt, a stadium and naming rights. I think they have quite a lot of money. Yes, they are in debt, but that doesn't mean they do not have money. Aki is staying in the City. We've heard that. Aki, I read the City wants 50 million pounds plus for Aki, and think that that puts off Chelsea. They negotiated for a while, and at one point we heard that they've agreed on a price. That now we know was in fact false. If Tuchel gets 3 defenders, I think we shall stick to a back of 3. I think True Blue has argued that yesterday. Aki is overrated. Again, that same fan base that weren't happy that we sold them. Again, I'm going to stop there and come back to the panel, because if I continue reading, we'd keep reading and get to the end of the show without even, achieving anything. Again, I want us to read this, which says Chelsea now move for Jules Kounde. The Sevilla centre-back has been on the list of potential targets for Todd Boehly, the new co-owner and acting sporting director and head coach Thomas Tuchel. Again, that begs the question: where did the rumors that he wasn't Tuchel's first choice, where that came from? At Sevilla, I expected to ask for a significant fee if they are to part with Kounde, a fee of around 60 million euros, which should be around 55. I'm not sure the number in pounds. It's thought to be a figure Sevilla may consider. Bobby, I'm going to come to you. Your thoughts on us, the rumors that we've reignited, or maybe we're back again for Kounde's signature.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'll revert back to the comment again about Barcelona's finances. I don't know why people delude themselves with this sort of thing, talking about naming rights and so on. It's a delusional brown envelope filled post. This is a club that you're saying has all these resources and still ask their players to take a pay cut. I mean, there is definitely a financial situation going on there, and the debt is real. And what's happening with them making all these purchases is, as far as I'm concerned, a breach of financial fair play. If that was Chelsea, everybody will be on their case. And in fact, we probably would have a transfer ban. But because it's Barcelona and all the corruption that we sweep under the carpet in football, because of the ownership of media, everybody makes excuses of it. There is no excuse for what they're doing right now. It's shameful. It's absolutely shameful. And if anybody else was in that position, they would be absolutely hammered for it. So, let's have that right. In terms of Jules Kounde, we do need pace. I've said now our defensive signing has to be one that has pace. Whether it's him or Kimpembe, only time will tell. We were told that we are going for 6 new signings. We've got 2, we've got 4 more to go. So there is a way to go. Another thing we will need is that no matter who we have in front, we're going to have some sort of creative midfielder. Why I say that is that Kovacic is good running with the ball, but is he creative enough to be able to create chances and score goals? That's questionable. At the moment, in that position, we have Harvey Vale and Tino Angerin. Are they going to be trusted to carry a club like Chelsea into a new season? That's up to Tuchel. The reason why people are talking about Dybala is because of that reason we've been linked to Dybala in order to help with servicing the forwards a bit better. Being linked to Kounde, fine. Ty was saying that, yes, he would feel a bit disappointed that he hasn't been snapped up. Well, I don't think Jules Kounde or his team are stupid. We've had a change of ownership, which to anybody with half a brain will understand that will mean change of approach. They're not going to have dealings with you the same way the last ownership had dealings with you. And if he wants to be upset with anybody, he should be upset with his club, who agreed one thing with Chelsea and then changed the agreement and expected Chelsea to still go with it when they increased the price. That, as I've always said, is one area I am 150% behind Marina. I liked what she did. She walked away. That is where you walk away and you show that you don't get, steamrolled or dictated to by other clubs. I've always said that. I've always said I supported that decision, and I've always said, and I will stand by it. Now there's a fresh negotiation, and I thought the club was coming down in price. But from what you're saying, the club is going up in price again. So no wonder it's taking time. And if they want to be stupid enough to sell to a club that is walking towards bankruptcy and absolutely selling the kitchen sink to keep going, fine, I don't care. Let him go and we'll go for somebody else. But if they want to play ball with us, we're ready. That's the attitude I think we should have. And I'm pretty sure that's the attitude we do have. So Jules Kounde, sorry, mate, but, the people you should be upset with is your club, not Chelsea. Chelsea have always shown interest in you. It's your club that's been your obstacle. And don't be surprised if they continue in this vein, we move for someone else, like Kimpembe or anybody or another player. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, I'm still hopeful we'll get him. I'm not sure where all the rumors are coming that Barcelona are in advanced talks with him. I heard somebody say yesterday during the automated stream that Chelsea, he wants to join no other club than Chelsea Football Club. Again, here's the thing. I want to say, if you're watching, please, we have 111 people watching and we have 76 likes. We need just 24 more likes to get to 100 likes. Please help us get there. It makes us happy and encourages us to do more because the likes do go a long way for the channel. So thank you. Thank you very much for 76 likes already. I'd be ungrateful not to say thank you. Now we have Jeffa Sikwa says having Koulibaly and Silva in your squad is just phenomenal, regardless of age. I am so excited about next season. Already 2 or 3 more signings, and we're ready. Again, if we're strategic about it, then we can still be hopeful that we'll do well next season. Chelsea need to sort out the defense from line in confusion. Let's be realistic. Again, sort out the defense. That's what they're working on it, Sabete. They're working on it, my brother from the Madiba land. We have to pay attention to what the club, what they're doing. And here's Just Viola. She said, so if we listen to music on Spotify, we're interested. I get where that is going. So you want to suggest that we cancel Barcelona? That's cancel culture. And I mean, I'm not into it. Again, but anyway, I don't use Spotify. I use Google Music, and I'm not advertising for anyone. But I get your point. I get your point. I think Chelsea fans boycotting Spotify wouldn't do any damage to their to the pocketbook, if you want to phrase it that way. But I get that's a good comment. Yes, Moshe, I agree with you. Says, oh, Bobby, stubborn is not. It's not a breach of FFP. Did we get investigated over the 1.6 billion Roman money? You can say that's a good question, really, but that's another argument for another day.
I want to respond to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because that is salty. That is a salty question. This man sold the club. It was up to him what to do with the money. If I lend you money and decide to cancel my debt to you, that is my choice. So what is the investigation to be had? Anybody investigating is seeking to be spiteful to the club. That is spiteful. How dare you? What do you mean investigate?
I think it's important we'll do a video or a stream where we discuss that so that we can learn from it and see what's possible and what's not possible.
Coach. The man spent the money and decided to leave the money so that debt is absorbed within the club and absorbed within the money to be donated to charity. Man, you cannot get a bigger demonstration of love for a football club than that. And for these people out there trying to make something out of it, I think it's appalling. It is absolutely appalling. Put your energy into investigating what's going on at Barcelona, where nobody seems to understand fully where the money's coming from. Nobody's giving up any debt anywhere. The debt is real. This is clear as day. I think Chelsea have had enough of all this. We are the only club that has gone through this kind of sanction where our owner had to sell the club in a fire sale, and people are coming to challenge why he's cancelled debt of his money to the club. It's insane. I won't even come and even have that discussion with anyone. It's not.
All right, let's move on from it. That's not why we're here to talk. More importantly, we have it says name a player. Libo says name a player you would want to come in for the midfield. Again, nice to see you here, Libo. I hope you're doing well, and I sincerely do mean that. I think I would have loved us to sign Christian Eriksen, and I honestly do mean that. He's a player. He's a creative player. He can create. He can also score. But I'm not sure why we weren't serious. And on a free, actually, we weren't serious. And he's a player that we've always wanted to sign before he moved from Tottenham to AC Milan. But that's, by the way, if Bobby or you, Ty, if any of you has any player you want to name, you go ahead. Lee Bell, I will go for De Jong and Nunes, Soldier 5, and he's got 1 year on his contract. Otherwise, he will go on a free. What is the situation with Kounde? We're not sure yet. What we're hearing is that Barca, that the most likely to sign the player, but there's no way to confirm that. We'll see what happens here. I agree. Kounde shouldn't blame Chelsea, but Sevilla. You could see it that way. What about Jimenez or Vadio? I'm not sure if we're interested on those players. Again, thank you very much. We need just 17 more likes to get to 100 likes. So thank you. Please keep liking the video. After this, how many more deals? Can we close? Yeah, go ahead.
So the issue about the creative player, we have players that are able to create. You know, there's a difference between the creative player and players that are able to create. Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher, um, um, Billy Gilmore is somebody that I'm hoping will be that creative player, but at the moment he's able to create. We are looking for a Fabregas type of player who is a little bit of a luxury because he won't give you anything in midfield in terms of, you know, ball winning, or very little, but he will give everything in terms of ball distribution, you know, tailored made passes and so on. That's who we need. It would have been,
Defense splitting passes.
yeah, that sort of thing. It would. That's why I mentioned the only two kind of creative midfielders that we have is Tino Angerin and Harvey Vale, who are both very young. Now, that is going to be a Thomas Tuchel decision. If we don't get a creative player as such, then I'm almost certain he's going to have faith in one of those two. Maybe even this could be the way that Billy Gilmore finds his place finally back in the first team. But I'm very keen to see the first um, preseason friendly. Not that everything will be revealed in that game, but it will start to give us a little bit of an idea what Tuchel's thinking, especially in that area, which we have a big need.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Ty, you have anything to add to that, or you want me to move on?
I just want to quickly say this. We do need that creator, but I also think that the sole reason why we don't really have the perfect balance, and you're mentioning Fabregas, for example, one of the reasons why he was able to do that was because he had that defensive support in the midfield. He had Matic, for example, who was able to do that. And I mean, conveniently, ever since Matic left, we haven't been able to have that consistency in terms of having that defensive support for the defense and in the midfield. Jorginho, for example, did it for that season when Tuchel came in, and I can remember that he would sit deep into the defense and to make a back three if Christensen or Rudiger pushed forward. So I think in that sense, I think in some way, I'm not sure if it's Georgina that decided to stop doing it or if it was something that the manager in a sense told him that maybe he can limit that a bit more. I'm not really sure, but I do think that there's a changing what he used to do, because he used to do that. So I think unless we were able to find the best solution to why that is, I don't think that getting in a creative player in itself will probably solve our problems completely, because like Bobby just said, Fabregas wouldn't really offer you that defensive side, or probably offer more than those defense breaking passes. And one of the reasons why he was able to do that, and why eventually when Matic left, Fabregas' performance started to dip a bit more. We started to concede, especially under Sorry, for example, was because even though Kante is a ball-winning midfielder, he isn't a DM, and he's a box-to-box ball-winning midfielder player. So that is different from being a DM. So I think in that sense, Fabregas' performance started to dip a bit more because we didn't have that defensive midfielder who could support him. And like I said, since Matic left, we haven't been able to find that level of consistency. And we even see that Matic at Man United, when he does play, he gives players like Fred the freedom to express himself on and score goals. So I think in that sense, it's important not only to get that creative midfielder or creative player, or rather, try to find or attempt to get one before probably seeing that if a Harvey Vale or a Billy Gilmore or Gallagher probably can do that, or Andren, maybe consider IDM, because I keep saying that IDM is much as important as the attack, and for me I think it's more important because we do have attackers and defenders, we just don't have IDM, and until we do that, and people say Rice, I have my reservation on Rice because I don't want to say we're a possessive team, but we do try to have most of the possession, to reduce the likelihood of counter attacks. And
What
West.
I'm to do?
Ampadu is a chance creation. No. But
No, he's talking
DM,
about
yes.
DMs.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
DM. I'm saying Ampadu there, but at the same time, that's only one player who's able. You need rotation though, so that's what I'm saying. Probably getting an one and somebody who has a bit of experience as well, because Ampadu is 22 or 21. So I think maybe getting in somebody with some level of experience would benefit him as well. But I'm not really sure about Declan Rice and probably a Jorginho or a Kante would make sense, because both of them, one wouldn't really solve the situation, because the way Rice plays, Rice is very offensive, and you need somebody who will sit deep in some situation and then rotate within the creative midfielder. So I'm not really sure about that.
Yeah, again, in terms of the DM, I say give Ampadu a chance. I think he'd do well there. But that's, by the way, I'm going to catch up with the chat, and I'm going to share the statistics of the Dybala, because I've heard quite a lot of people, urge the club to go check out, get Dybala because he lives on a free. And Inter, it doesn't look like Inter are interested anymore. But we see what happens. Chelsea all the way says none of those players you mentioned are creative. I think they're creative, but in terms of creating goal scoring chances, I think you could say they're not the best at it. So there's so much you do in life that you use it, that you need creativity to do. When becoming a footballer, it takes creativity for you to be master. The ability of fulfilling a certain position and all that. But players are specialized in so many aspect of the game, so they differ in terms of their in profile. Again, I get that argument. Attila Slazar, that's what I don't want to talk about. I'm not sure what happened about that. The rumors stand where we'd signed him already. It's just for the transfer window to open for him to join us. Again, if you're watching, please take a second to like the video. We have 93 people watching right now. We need just 15 more likes to get to 100. I think let's get it to at least 100 and see if we can get it to 300, 200 by the end of the show. But that's fine. Thank you very much for all the support. I sincerely do appreciate that. Again, Adrian Rabiot from Juve. I don't think he's what we're hearing. He doesn't have a good relationship with Thomas Tuchel. There's no way to confirm that. It may well be all nonsense. Kante in a pivot with Rice would work. I haven't thought about that. Adrian Rabiot is exactly what this guy is talking about. Okay, we gave Barca Christensen. We didn't give him. Christensen went to them again. Remember, he left on a free, but they get a stingy to offer us players. They even went Alonso and Aspi. We didn't give them Christensen, so let's be clear about that. Chelsea all the way says Chelsea got no creative player. Again, you just talk about be specific players who can create more chances, clear-cut chances, split, able to orchestrate defense, splitting passes. But right now we have one. For some reason, it hasn't really worked for him at the club. Maybe because the manager doesn't trust him. I'm talking about Hakim Ziyech, because he's capable of creating those sort of chances that you're talking about. But I think he has an issue, given that he thinks the argument is that he's being played out of position. He hasn't been at his best all the time. But there was a time he picked up form, and the manager dropped him. I don't want to get into that argument. Chelsea got no credit. And then, like I said, I don't agree with that. Rice does have a relatively high pass accuracy. And how many chances has he created? I think we'd have to look at his statistic to confirm that. Big up, beautiful people. Glenn, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. Let us know if you're fine, please. We want to know. Again, we have 96 people watching. We're still at 87 likes, 13 more to get to 100 likes. Please keep liking the video and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Afternoon, True Blue, just saying hello there again. Thank you. Says, would like to see Ziyech at central attacking midfield, but good luck seeing that happen because there's a chance that will never happen on the Thomas Tuchel. But we'll see. But we done a play with one. Okay, I did read it through before I started answering your question. Let's look at Dybala's statistics for people calling for Chelsea footballer to sign him. I think it was True Blue who first pointed out that it looks like he's declining, and I'm not sure why. If you look at 2017, 2018, he played 33 games, scored 22 goals, which is a high number, and then 5 assists. And when did well, I want to know when did Cristiano Ronaldo join Juventus? And in what year, so to speak? And in 2018, 2019, 30 games, 5 goals. He had less goals than, and then 4 assists. Just the assist didn't change that much. And then in 2019, 2020, he had 11 goals, 6 assists, more assists than usual. And then in 2021, 4 goals, 3 assists. And then 2021, 2022, he did better. I think he became their penalty taker at this point. So there's a chance more of those goals came from the sport, and 5 assists. So the question I ask, what year did he join them? Because I want to make a point for something that Rodrigo said here on the panel. Says injuries have ruined Dybala. He was class under 2019. When I want to know, please, if you understand, help me. Says Ronaldo joined Juve 2018, 2019. And you could say that's when his numbers started going down. Why did I talk about that? And I am glad he's not coming to us. That's not me arguing that Ronaldo is a bad player. I was actually arguing with, about his ego, how he'd be a problem in the dressing room, and how he may well lead to the firing of the manager. And then Rodrigo talked about something that I've looked at, and I thought maybe this may well be the case. I think you could argue Dybala's numbers started dropping the moment Ronaldo joined Juve, and that also happened at United. The moment he joined, the numbers of the attackers they had there started dropping. So that's why I'm happy we didn't sign Ronaldo. But I would say if we can get Dybala, maybe he'd be able to reignite that form. That's what year again? Let's say 2017, 2018 form, because we don't have Ronaldo. And the Ronaldo joined in 2018, 2019, and his number dropped significantly immediately. Bobby, I want to get your thoughts on that. Maybe we should start looking at Dybala.
If his statistics are declining, then I can't see us going there. We're not in it to gamble. We're here to make logical purchases that will give the club better strength and a better chance of winning the big trophies. So if indeed his stats are declining, there's no point going there. We can't mess around. We have plenty of players that are able to create. But that creative player is quite a unique person, and it's hard to come by. Barcelona have De Jong, Real Madrid have Modric, who they've given another contract because, as old as he is, they are still looking for somebody that is as creative as he is. And Chelsea had Cesc Fabregas, who's gone. But these players are, apart from in the case of Modric, they're usually a bit of a luxury. De Jong, well, it's debatable, but they're usually a bit of a luxury and they need protecting. If you have a creative midfielder, you have to make sure that your midfield is solid around him. That was why Fabregas did so well when he played with Matic, and it was always a bit of a disaster when you left him alone with Kante in the middle, because they both just didn't have the physicality to deal with games in the Premier League and sometimes games in Europe. So Dybala, if he's declining, no. If he's declining, we may as well rely on the likes of Tino Angerin and Harvey Vale, who can do a good job, don't get me wrong. It's just that they are not experienced. And I think one of them or both of them could be rotational. It's not a drastic position because we can manage without it, but manage will be the operative word. It's better to have it. But who's out there? That's the question. Who's out there? I can't really think. I can only think of Dybala. The other players are at clubs. De Jong, the situation is messy. You know, De Jong doesn't. I think De Jong will come to Chelsea, but there's all this issue in and around money owed him and the whole sort of Barcelona underhanded way of doing things. I would rather not have any dealings with that club, to be honest. You know, we need to just stay away from them. They're not clear. They're not as transparent and as forthright as we are and most other clubs, and I mean that. So, you know, I think it's only out of reluctance that we have to do deals with Aspi and Alonso for them. But getting into that De Jong saga, we don't need it, to be honest. We don't need it at all. The only other player I think, and this is, I don't know much about him, is it Nunes? The guy, the Portuguese player. Uh, uh, oh gosh, what's his name? Nunes Morales. Help me out here.
Are we looking at him? Have we been linked with the player you're talking about?
Yes, we have.
Is it Matheus Nunes?
Matheus Nunes, that's right. Now, I don't know how creative he is. Some people say he's a sort of same version as Kovacic. Okay, but if he is Kovacic plus creativity, I would go for him for sure, because having somebody like Kovacic, with Kovacic, who can create, would be very helpful to the team. But you know, I don't know. I don't really know any creative player in world football at the moment that we should be really chasing after that would improve us.
Ty, your thoughts? I think let's look at Nunes' statistics. I think in terms of, no, I think, I don't think we should actually, if we're looking at him, it's not because of his creative ability in terms of creating more chances and scoring goals. I think his numbers isn't that good. Look at his numbers here. The numbers for Matheus Nunes is 33 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. Maybe because he plays deeper. Again, in the Champions League, 0 goals, 3 yellow cards. It's more.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, that's not what we're talking about now, is it? So,
yeah, go ahead. But I'm just looking at him in terms of, because we've always argued that if we're going to get midfielders, let's look at the ones that will help us get more goals, that, you know, create more chances for the team and all that. But I get your argument. Ty, your thoughts?
you know, we're looking at a luxury position here. We have other needy positions, but this is just that extra icing on the cake that that helps us cook better as a team. Christian Eriksen would have been excellent for that, but there's always that fear about his health.
No, I never feared. Again, maybe that's how you see it. I think it'd be fine. It's been the
No, it's not how I see it. I think that's probably why the club didn't go for him.
Maybe, but I'm not sure that would be the case, because they diagnosed what the issue was, which means they're taking care of it, which means they'll be fine against. That's how I see it. Get Leo. We have Leo Kai. So Leo may not come, actually. Again, pronounces his name is one thing I dread doing. It is on the 5th stand by only if few selected countries. What are you talking about, Glenn? Get me into the conversation, please. Anjorin will be. Oh, sorry. What did you say?
You're talking about the game. That's gonna be.
Okay. The game today. Okay, it should be Sunday. Okay. I am going to pull an all-nighter since they start at 7 p.m. my time. So it will be around. Yeah, I see that. Okay. True Blue says anything here. Says Napoli want Akim and Bailey. Okay. It's too old for the Blues. Who is too old? Name who you're talking about. Fafana Boba. We want to know. Says, let me see. Anything else to read here? If you have any questions, shoot in the chat. Otherwise, we'll call it a day in a minute, because we have a show starting in about 10 minutes. The Travis and Helgi show, frankly, Saturdays. And if you have time, please do join. You will be redirected to that show. Again, Liam Lane, thank you for sharing that link here. I appreciate that. Anything else to address? List of countries where you can watch the game. Okay, on Fifth Stands for free. I don't think there's anything else to address here. Okay, where's Chama? Did I miss Chama? Oh, let me not do that to my sister. Chama Yusuf, I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you here. It's been a minute. I hope things are well with you and your family. Again, if you haven't, we have 89 likes, just 11 more likes to get to 100 likes. Please take a second to like the video and help us get at least 100 likes by the time we end the show, because today's show is not going to go that long because we have another show starting in a beat. This one started late, so if I try to let it run for 3 hours, it will, overlap into the other show, and that's not going to be all right. And it starts in about 9 minutes again. So, Ty, your thoughts on all the topics we discussed today?
Yeah, there's a lot of decisions to be made in the coming days and weeks about Broja, Kimpembe, Kounde. It will be interesting to see what happens with Broja, because I think, for my opinion, I think he's a player that could be key for us in the future if he's given the chance. But he also has to fight for the chance. Kimpembe is a player that Tuchel has worked with, got the best out of, and in my opinion, based on the PhD that I saw Kimpembe in under Tuchel compared to Pochettino, I think he's had his best time under Tuchel's management. But it all comes down to if he believes it's the right decision. Now, with Kounde, I've stressed this. I think it's going to be a case. And again, what Bob was saying about, the club that he should be obsessed with is Sevilla, because he really one that moved the goalpost and, blocked the move that he wanted and the club believed that they could have done. But I just don't think that when he looks at the situation where they were ready to go for somebody who is worth more, in a sense, or were worth more by Leeds, and they weren't willing to go for him for that price, you may look at it, and I mean that's his decision to make, but I do think it's a bit weird.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ty, for that. I appreciate you finding time to join today. And again, if you haven't, go check out Ty Talks YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, and also remind him that I sent you. Again, I will share the link to his channel in the description section by the time the video is ready. So again, Ty, thank you. Bobby, your thoughts on everything we talked about today?
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, the transfer business is only just getting started. Yes, we've got 2 deals, but we really do need at least another 4 more to take the squad into a competitive realm. And we need to get those in the door within pre-season, which is a big ask. So far, so good, but, I won't start to rest easy until I see another centre-back coming. That is very crucial, and especially somebody with pace. Then we can start to redress any of the forward issues that we think we have. I think I really don't see what the worth of getting rid of Ziyech, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get sold, because we now have clearly a mobile way of playing up front, and he will have his place, unless he wants to go, which is a different matter. But if he doesn't, I'm not really convinced that we're going to get somebody in that will justify getting rid of Ziyech.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bobby. I appreciate that. I think you and I the same on that one. If the club can find a replacement, they may well keep him, most especially now that the manager, he's given a hint that there's a chance he play for at the back 4-3-3, which will allow Ziyech to play on the flanks, which he likes to do on most occasions. And Glenn says, I think the coach, I'm thinking of changing my name to Glenn. Please do that. I'd like to see it happen. But again, I appreciate all your support. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Glenn. Thank you to Trubly for all the support. Thank you to Chama Youssef for finding time to join us today. Thank you to the queen, one of the queens of the house, because Sharma is also queen of the house. Just Viola, thank you for finding the time to join us. Thank you for Rockstar, everyone else in the chat. And if I miss your name, my apologies. I'm only human. Again, thank you. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow for another Blue Morning show. There will be no evening show because I'll be going to the games. Maybe, I'll try to show you the players when they be warming up. I hope you enjoy that when I do it. So thank you again for all the support. I cannot thank you enough. God bless us all. See you guys from the stadium, and cheers.